You see it after you've already agreed. The price you nodded at is still there, untouched, and beneath it, a new line appears. Admin fee. That's the paradox. The price didn't change. The cost did. It lands at the worst possible moment, not during negotiation, not when you're comparing options. It shows up after the decision is psychologically finished. You've already pictured the outcome, the flat, the service, the booking confirmation email. Arguing now feels awkward, petty, late. So you pause. Then you keep going. It's never large enough to justify a scene. Not enough to walk away. Just enough to sting. The kind of charge that relies on momentum more than consent. And you tell yourself it's probably standard. You see it again when you book a train ticket. The fare looks reasonable. You click through. Seat selected. Time chosen. Then the total updates. A handling fee, a processing fee, something that sounds procedural rather than optional. It doesn't feel like a new price. It feels like paperwork. Paperwork doesn't invite debate. Or when you sign a lease, the rent is agreed. The numbers make sense. Then comes the move-in administration. Not part of the rent, not negotiable, framed as necessary, not profitable. By the time it appears, the flat already exists in your future. Walking away would feel irrational. That's the design. Because these charges aren't meant to win arguments. They're meant to arrive after arguments are no longer emotionally available. Once you've crossed the internal line from evaluating to committing, your tolerance changes. You're no longer asking, is this worth it? You're asking, is this worth stopping? And the answer is almost always no. The label matters more than the amount. Admin doesn't sound like profit. It sounds like inevitability, a cost imposed by the universe, not by a person. You're not paying them. You're paying reality, which is convenient because reality doesn't negotiate. Notice how these fees never appear early. They wait until comparison is over, until alternatives are closed, until time pressure quietly replaces choice. The price you agreed to remains technically intact, which gives everyone plausible deniability. No one lied. They just didn't finish the sentence. Once you start seeing it, it shows up everywhere. Concert tickets where the face value is tolerable, but the final screen blooms with service charges. Online purchases where delivery is reasonable until packaging and processing join the party. Utility switches where the monthly figure stays clean, but the setup fee quietly handles the difference. Each one small, each one defensible. Together they train you to separate price from payment as if those are different concepts. That separation is the trick. Because a price invites judgment, a fee invites resignation. The system understands something basic about human behavior. People hate reopening decisions. Once we've said yes internally, anything that arrives after feels like friction rather than information. So the extra cost isn't framed as a choice. It's framed as an obstacle you clear to reach what you already decided you wanted. You're not agreeing again. You're complying. That's why these fees survive scrutiny. They're not selling value. They're selling finality. The chance to be done, to stop thinking, to move on. And the most uncomfortable part is this. The smoother you are as a customer, the easier this works on you. Being reasonable, being time efficient, being low drama. Those traits don't protect you here, they expose you. The system isn't exploiting ignorance, it's exploiting momentum. You didn't miss the fee because you weren't paying attention. You accepted it because you already were. The price you agreed to wasn't the real test. The real test was whether you'd interrupt yourself once the decision felt complete, and most of the time, the answer is no.